In 1999, Morpheus offered Neo a choice between a red pill and a blue pill. In 2018, this country fractured between red and blue. In 2022, I'm here to tell you that if you really want the truth, more voters are neither red or blue. Yet, they have no representation, no choice, and no options. They have to choose between candidates chosen by the red people or the blue people. I'm David Esrati, and I'm running for Congress as an American, as in red, white, and blue. I'm a veteran, an activist, and a small businessman. I'm asking you to join me in reminding the professional politicians in Congress who their bosses are. I support ranked choice voting, campaign finance reform, and a verified voter information system, all so we can stop having the best politicians money can buy. It's time to elect a veteran who will work for you, no matter what color they want to label you. Please go to electesrati.com and learn more. I'm David Esrati, and I approve this message. In Jurassic Park, you thought those little baby dinosaurs were cute until they turned into out-of-control carnivores. That's sort of what happens to government when we elect people based on very expensive advertising campaigns and propaganda. I'm David Esrati. I'm a veteran and a small businessman running for Congress. You don't want professional ad people and pollsters to sway your vote. All those hot-button issues like gun control, abortion, borders are all politicized to stop you from voting rationally. And thinking rationally seems to be in short supply these days. Most Americans have been voting against their own best self-interest for a long time because we've allowed money to buy our leaders. 1 million Americans died in the last 2 years because our leaders couldn't lead. It wasn't that hard. Mask, distance, test, and then vaccinate. In an instant, we had billions to spend on healthcare for COVID, when for years we've been told we can't provide healthcare for everyone equally in this country. That's an unintended consequence of the pandemic. If you think about it, our government can pretty much do whatever it wants, or what the people who buy our politicians tell our leaders to do. We also had a ton of money to prop up businesses. And next thing you know, it turns out that a living wage was not only possible, but necessary. As a small businessman who won't sell you out to corporate interests and lobbyists, I can tell you that it's time to fully understand the consequences of companies like Amazon, Facebook, and Google and their effect on small business, and to remind you that small business is the #1 creator of jobs in this country. So this next election, don't trust this ad or any other political ad. Do your homework and think before you vote. It's time to put this ad man in Congress because I know that the best advertising is based on the truth, not the size of the budget or payroll. Or you can just vote based on who has the money to buy their way into Congress and live with the consequences. I'm David Esrati, and I approve this message. Hi, I'm David Esrati. I'm running for Congress. Last night I was at the Belmont-Eastmont Hearthstone community meeting, and somebody did something that hasn't happened for a long time. They confused me with Mike Turner. They said, why didn't you fill out the Women's League of Women Voters candidates information? I said, oh, but I did. It was Mike Turner that did not. Oh my God. In fact, a lot of Republicans haven't. And if you've been reading the Dayton Daily News, they don't respond to requests to be interviewed for their race. Rodney Creech running against Amy Cox. Rodney didn't want to respond. Same thing goes for multiple other candidates. Republicans don't feel they have a need to respond. In fact, I have not seen Mike Turner in years, despite running against him. He has not showed up at a single candidate forum, and there's one tonight at Omega Baptist Church on Salem Avenue. Starts somewhere between 6:30 and 7. I will be there at 6:30. I will have my video camera going, and we'll see if he shows up there. But so far, he hasn't shown up anywhere. Because Mike Turner has now, the running count is 27 billionaires backing him. He has 45 PACs. 90% of his money now comes from out of state. It's pretty embarrassing. And it's a $1.7 million to my 38,000. That is 38,000, not $38, $38,000. But that is ridiculous. Now, how am I going to change all this in the 3 weeks or less we've got to go? I'm going to have to depend on all of you who watch this or believe that this country is in peril and you need to have Democrats elected so we don't have doomsday scenarios like the amazing ad put together by Eric Swalwell out in California, where he shows what happens if you have an abortion and the police come to your door and lock you up for it. Definitely worth a check to go out and look. I've had it on my Twitter feed. I've had it on my Facebook pages. You can search on YouTube for Eric Swalwell, Lock Them Up. Go take a look. So, anyways, I am glad to see there are people on. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties yesterday. We don't know what happened. I think we need to restart everything and go, and then we're good. But we're going to talk about something that I need to clarify. Now, why do I need to clarify it? Because Sunday night, I went on a podcast. It's available on the Truman. I think I put the notes down below. By the way, you need to subscribe and like this channel if you're watching. But in the notes below, I went on the Truman Town Hall podcast, which has two conservative people interviewing me. I don't know if Matt's on today. He was on yesterday. But, you know, debate is good. Having to sit there, it sharpens you. It forces you to think and point, counterpoint. It refines your thinking about things. And I said something that, you know, I'm sure somebody could take as an outtake and say, oh my God, Esrati wants to shoot people who have guns in public. Well, that's almost true. But here's what we got to get down to, okay? Listen real carefully. Back when we had the Founding Fathers fighting in the Revolutionary War, they were doing it with muskets, flintlocks, ball, ammunition, and cannons, and that's about it. Okay, there were some sabers too, you know, a little bit of swordplay. The reality is, in order to kill 19 people, it would take 19 people to do it in 30 seconds, because that's how long it took you to reload. I've showed videos of this. I showed the guy walking into the office with his flintlock rifle. He takes one shot and he misses, and then he's got to, like, you know, drop stuff in there, drop powder in, tamp it down, drop the ball in, and then go again. It takes time. Semi-automatic weapons take no time at all to reload. They take no time at all to pull the trigger. You can shoot a lot of people very quickly. So, to me, those are weapons of war. They're not weapons of home defense. They're weapons for offense. And I got to ask, you know, how am I going to defend my home without my 9mm pistol? Well, it's called a shotgun, okay? You want to get rid of people in a hurry? Shotguns are absolutely the best thing in close quarters. You get, boom, they're gone. They're going to get hit. It's a good choice of weapon for that. I have no problems with 5-round internal clip shotguns. Go for it. Same thing with a 5-shot internal bolt action rifle, where you have to draw the bolt back each time. Still a lot faster than a muzzle loader, but that's a hunting rifle. That's okay. I have no problems with a 5-shot revolver, even a 6-shot revolver. I'll give you the extra round, okay? Because after that, you have to dump them out. Even with the speed loader, it takes a minute. It's not the same as whipping out a Glock or a SIG or any other pistol and just dropping the mag, slap another in, and go, 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 go. So, in my worldview. I don't want to be walking around in the Wild West where everybody is carrying weapons and they can pull them and start shooting at any time. I can't identify the good guys from the bad guys. Neither can the police sometimes. In fact, I believe it was either in Uvalde or it was down at Marjorie Douglas. They saw him walking in with the rifle and they didn't do anything. Could have stopped him before he even got into school. Of course, they were outgunned because they only had sidearms. But the reality is, and this is where it comes into play, when people are walking around with an AR-15 out in the general public, you have to start wondering if we're in a war zone, if they're combatants, and whose side are they on? So my question is, how do you identify that? And to me, the secret to identifying whether they are part of a well-regulated militia or they're part of the crazy crew that go out and shoot up places, the number one thing is they're alone. Now, yeah, Columbine, there were 2 of them. Doesn't matter. They weren't in uniform. That's the second item. Police are in uniform. They have guns. If you are going to be in public with a semi-automatic weapon, a long gun, a semi-automatic pistol, you should be in a uniform. And there should be somebody with you. If you go to Israel, where there are guns everywhere, on every street corner, at every traffic stop, because you have to go through these zigzag barricades to make sure you're not a bomber, there are 2 people. They are in uniform. They are armed. So, I got to read questions really quick. Bill Mavar is cleaning his flintlock while he's watching. And Tam says, cocking a shotgun is an internationally known language, which is true. So, if we are in public and we have to quickly discern between whether they are friend or foe, whether they are a terrorist or one of us, if they are not in a uniform and they are carrying an assault rifle or carrying a semi-automatic pistol, they're up to no good. Because that's not part of a well-regulated militia. We have police to keep us safe out in the community. Now you say only bad guys will have guns. Well, I'm fine with that. If a bad guy wants to carry a gun, we have instant permission to shoot him. In fact, I'd be in favor of you get caught with a gun and you are not in uniform and you are not able to provide FBI or police identification as an undercover officer. If any of those things don't happen and you have a working weapon that is not a hunting rifle or a shotgun and you are not on your way to go hunting, you're walking around in public, you are a threat to society and that's it. We're done with you. I'm sick and tired of having little kids get shot in schools. I'm sick of people getting shot at the movie theater. I'm sick of them getting shot at the grocery store. It's not just one grocery store. We've had multiple grocery stores where you get shot. Are we supposed to stop eating because people go to grocery stores and start shooting? I mean, it's happened over and over. There is something wrong with these gun nuts who believe that guns make us safer. In fact, statistics say you having a gun in your house will increase the likelihood of suicide more than anything by gun. It will increase the risk of domestic violence in your house. All these things. These weapons need to be in an armory, under guard, locked down, where you are either taking them out to train or they stay in. And your militia unit should carry insurance. And if somehow you get out and you do something, your militia unit not only gets in trouble, they lose their license to be a militia. And we take your little pop guns away for a year. You have more than one of your people go off the reservation, you might be liable as well. We have to have a license to drive. We have to have insurance to drive. Sure, I can kill you with my car. But let's be real. I can kill a whole lot of people with a gun. And the gun's only purpose is to kill people. The car can actually get you from point A to point B. So, again, guns require training. They require upkeep. They require secure storage. They require uniforms. They require you to be out in pairs. You don't meet those qualifications, sorry, you're not going to Pasco. You're going directly to jail. That's that. If you get caught with guns in your house that are semi-automatic and you are not part of a well-regulated militia, you go to prison. And if I had it my way, we'd just shoot you. But the hard part is identifying who really owns the guns. So we'll just send you to prison. You can keep your guns, people. I have no problems with the Second Amendment, but you have to be a part of a well-regulated militia. And that means you take orders from people, you train with people, you go out and shoot all you want. I have no problems with competitive shooting programs. I have no problems with target shooting. I have none of that stuff. You can do all that. That's called training. And if that's your thing, go for it. But you can't go out and take your pop guns in public. Period. End of story. People with pop guns in public that aren't in uniform are terrorists. They are making us afraid. They're making women and children afraid. They're making police officers afraid. And it's got to stop. So, that should resolve all the questions about my I have no problems taking the gun and just shooting them right then and there statement on the podcast. Let's go to some other things that were brought up on the podcast that might be a little bit different. Apparently, it bothered one of them, a pastor, that somehow I could not have a moral compass if I was a self-declared atheist. How could I do that? That was an interesting question because my parents raised me right and didn't tell me I had to do things to make God happy or because I was going to heaven or hell, but because if I didn't do things that they would respect, I would be in trouble and I wouldn't feel good about myself. I believe in the golden rule. I even believe in Jesus. Jesus was a good man. Jesus did a lot of good things. He happened to be Jewish. Guess what? By birth, I am Jewish. I believe in Jewish cultural beliefs. I do not believe that if you eat a bacon double cheeseburger, you're going to hell. Or if you do all these other things in the Bible that you're not supposed to do. I mean, I like bacon double cheeseburgers. In fact, it was my father's favorite and last meal from Burger King, by the way. There is no correlation between believing in God and being a good person. There are a lot of people who consider themselves very religious in this country who voted for a man who said it was okay to grab women right in the you-know-where and has been divorced 3 times, been sued multiple times, charged with rape, all kinds of things, and he happened to get to be president. So I don't equate religiousness or a belief in God with actually being a good person. I believe, and I know a lot of people that believe in God and who are very good people and would agree with me that Donald Trump was not fit to be president. The 2 interviewers on this podcast, not so much. So, I'm reading here. All right. So, one comment from Tam saying she agrees that seeing guns in public make her uncomfortable and children uncomfortable and afraid. And it's intimidating to be a 120-pound person in a land of people that are much bigger than you. Well, Tam, you walk tall. You walk bigger than you are, okay? And I, for one, am not afraid by people with guns. But I don't like them around me unless they're a police officer, a member of the military. Other than that, to me, you're a lunatic if you feel more safe with a gun with you. It's a lot of responsibility to have a gun, and that's why you need to be there with somebody else. So there's total situational awareness and you don't have somebody just grab your gun and start shooting other people, that you enabled them to do that. We even had a police chief who lost his frickin' pistol. That's embarrassing, okay? It is a lot of work to keep a pistol stored safely, keep control of it at all times. We've had people who've shot themselves when dropping trow to go to the bathroom. That's how bad it is. Accidental shootings. Guns are not safe to have around you. We banned jarts after 3 kids got hit in the head with them. Those lawn dart games where you had the big dart and you threw it and it was weighted. We banned them. How many people have been killed by guns in this country and we haven't done anything? So, that's my gun control. So, we're going to move on. One other thing they were, that was interesting was, just the process of debate. Having somebody to argue with. It sharpens you. That's why it's good that we have multiple parties and multiple voices. The problem in this country is we've decided there's a red one and a blue one and there's nothing else. Everything else in this country, you have multiple choice. There are different kinds of mayonnaise that people fight over. There are different kinds of ketchup that people fight over. Some say Red Gold, some say Heinz. Okay? They fight over mustards. If you look at hot sauce aisle, there's hot sauces to go for miles. So why are we down to red and blue, Democrat and Republican, liberal and conservative, and leaving all these other voices out? And why are we still running elections as either ors? It's time to fix this. It's time to go to ranked choice voting, eliminate the stupid primaries where only the crazy radicals come out and vote for their favorite radical. And let's move elections to a sensible time around the 4th of July so that we don't interfere with the fourth quarter with expensive ads that encroach on legitimate businesses trying to do business in the fourth quarter. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I very much appreciate those of you for checking in. It's Tuesday. We'll be back tomorrow with another installment. I'm trying to get the stump speech up from yesterday, but I doubt I'll get it because I'm short a few people today and that these things happen. So hopefully those will be up tomorrow as well as the candidates night from tonight. Coming up Thursday night is the Greene County Democratic Party meeting in Greene County. I will be there at 7 p.m. I still need locations for people who live on busy main streets to put my signs out. Let me know. We'll bring them out and install them. I need donations for the campaign in the worst way. I don't care if it's $3, $5, $10. If you want to buy a shirt for $35, if you want to donate $100 and get a shirt sent to you, I don't care. I need to catch up. I need some money so we can buy some more yard signs and get this other campaign launched that we'll probably show you tomorrow during this podcast. Okay? I need you to get the Reach.vote app out, and I need you to sign up and get going. If you got any questions, contact me at david@electesrati.com and we'll get you up and going on it. And I need you to reach out to your friends. I need you to watch that Eric Swalwell ad, Lock Her Up. You gotta watch it. I should have run it today, but again, we were shorthanded. I am looking, and Lynn says, thank you for the sign. Thank you for tuning in, Lynn. No problem. Again, I am working against incredible odds at an incredible time for an election that means everything to women who should have the right to choose what to do with their bodies, number one. And number two, we've got to figure out some way to counteract this insane Supreme Court that will have all of our laws changed and nullified in no time. Okay? And last night I heard people ask, they really didn't know about issues 1 and 2 in the state of Ohio. And I'm going to tell you that if you vote no on both of those and we somehow win, because they sound great on paper, like a lot of Republican ideas that are just distractions, we will be in much better shape. You've got to vote no, especially on issue 2, which would stop 17-year-olds from being able to choose who's going to be on the ballot for when they vote when they're 18. Unless we get rid of primaries and we just have one day of elections, That's a critical thing. If we overturn that, they've got it couched in this craziness. It's all about local control, but they're saying, oh my God, we're going to let illegal aliens vote. No, that's not what it's about. Issue 1, do you want your judges to use good common sense, or do you just want them to be automatons that boom, do this, boom, do that, boom, do this? There is no need to change the laws as they sit for bail or anything else. I don't see any other questions or comments. I appreciate everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll premiere that new commercial. I've got some other things coming up. Again, I need you to consider making donations or getting some friends to make donations. Or since Mike Turner knows 27 billionaires, I'm sure you know at least one or two. So get them to come on over and just drop $2,900 on me. Because so far this cycle, I've only had 2 people reach the max. 2. And Turner's got hundreds. It's really hard, okay? So, thank you so much for everything. We'll see you tomorrow.